Hey guys, Noons here, Airborne RC. Thanks for joining. If you like it, go ahead and hit the like button, subscribe. If you guys want to see more content. The other day, last week, I tried to go ahead and fire up the turbine. I was running into a few hiccups with it, and the hiccups were totally my fault. I went in there and I was going off of the manual that's on the internet. I should have left it alone. On the HSD owner's jet site, I went ahead and I got in with Terry, who owns RC Bad Boys, actually up in Waddle, Arizona. He went ahead and reached out to me on Facebook, gave me his number, and I went ahead and gave him a call. And boy, did we just shoot the shit about everything. But how awesome is this, guys? He asked me for the serial number of the turbine engine. I went ahead and I gave it to him. He actually set this thing up. He had all the settings and everything. We went through everything one by one by one by one. Got it everything in there. I messed up. I changed the pump voltage because in this manual, as you see, it says SWIWIN Turbine Brushless Series. I went ahead and I set up the pump voltage to this, and I should have left it alone. In the manual, it states 0.4 to 0.8 volts. The brushless motors actually require 1.2 to 1.4, if I believe my conversation with Terry was correct. So I went ahead and set it 1.2 where he had it set it at, fired up every time. Last week when I had it running, everything was washed out from the sun, so the footage was basically useless. So what I did is I set it up in my backyard to piss off the neighbors a little bit. We went ahead and fired it up. Went ahead and did a few fire ups and runs. I got videos of two from the setup and everything. So with this manual, the problem is what they did was they took the brushed motor manual and changed it and just put this cover page. So if you're going to get into SWIWIN turbines, don't mess with it. Call RC Bad Boys. Call Andy if you have any questions of this manual. Don't even worry about it, guys. Go ahead and stay tuned. I hope you enjoy what you guys see. Alright, guys. Before you can go ahead and fire this thing up, you got to go ahead and teach this where your throttle movements are. It always has stop, ready, and idle. So you got to tell the GCU what that is from the controller. Okay? So right now I don't have the turbine actual power to it. I just have power going to the GSU from the receiver off of my pulse receiver battery, and that goes ahead and it powers the unit. So the first thing we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to go ahead and get in here, and we're going to go ahead and access the menu by hitting OK. And we're going to go down to Study RC. Alright, now over here you have max, idle, and minimum. The way this works is minimum is with your throttle trim all the way down. Idle is with your throttle trim all the way up. Max is throttle trim all the way up plus full throttle. So let's go ahead and get that taken care of. We're going to go down to min. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to hit our trim button down. And you'll see the number, see how it's changing? So we're going to go all the way down. Right, 992. And if you look on the transmitter, negative 100. So we're going to go back over here and we're going to store that. 990, 992. Now this knows when it wants it to be on shutdown. Next, let's go to idle. And it's going to be trim all the way up. That's all the way up at 100. Doesn't go anymore. Then we go ahead and acknowledge that. 1220, 1220. Next will be max. And what we're going to do is we're going to take our throttle and we're going to go ahead and put it all the way up. Make sure it's all the way up. And that's the number we want to plug in there. And that's it. Now you basically went ahead and taught this your min, your max, the whole thing. Basically, like when you go on an electric ESC, you go full throttle then down, so it knows your throttle range. That's pretty much what you just did here. So guys, now that we got that set up, we're going to take this bad boy outside. We're going to throw fuel in it, and we're going to go ahead and fire it up. Hey guys, Noons, Airborne RC. So we got it outside. Got my turbine battery right here, my receiver battery right there. Earlier, I don't think I was confused. This is the GSU right here, the little unit, the HMI, the human machine interface. This is just the ESC right here. All right, I got my receiver right here, had it sleeping. I got my earplugs, I got my Halotron fire extinguisher right here in case bad stuff happens. Basically, I got my rig clamped down with my handy dandy DeWalt vices so it don't go anywhere. I got my ABC here just in case anything happens on the ground or the tree. And got my kerosene rig right over there. So first thing we're gonna go ahead and do to this, guys, is we're gonna fuel her up. All right. So this basically right here, it's kerosene mixed 5% with RC Bad Boys turbine oil. I already pre-mixed it. I ran this the other day, guys, out at the airfield. The footage in it was a wash because of the sun. Couldn't see anything on the screen. So I'm doing it here in my backyard. So it gets rid of the glare so you can actually see what's going on and everything. So this right here, it's just a 3S. This, I went ahead and I built that. There's the video about that thing. And let's bring the transmitter. All right, we're all the way down. Let's go ahead and connect power to our gas pump. All right, we have the fuel line shut off. Our overflow's here on the ground. Go ahead and take this off. Alright, and before we go ahead and start, guys, what happened last week at the field is with the manual, as I said in the beginning, it was just basically the wrong manual. So I talked with Terry at RC Bad Boys. He's the one that actually tunes these up, and we got the right parameters set in here. So we're going to basically just fill this up right now and see if she'll start, not doing any gimmicks or anything. So let's go ahead and fuel up the fuel. We got to connect it in there. All right. First, the fuel goes here in the UAT. And you can see it filling up. And once it gets to a point, it's just going to all start dumping in here. So we'll go ahead and just put a little bit in here, just go ahead and test it out. I'm in my backyard, so my neighbors are probably going to get pretty mad at me doing this. We'll put it right about there. All right, so we'll go ahead and take this out. Put her back in. Plug. We'll unplug the pump and we'll move this out of the way. Try and keep everything separated. Alright guys, next, earplugs. I did this at the field and it's pretty loud. Let's see if my neighbors give me any dirty looks when they come outside. Alright. So first thing we're going to do is, we have this set up, the throttle is all the way down. Set up on the right plane. We're going to go ahead and give the receiver power. All right. Let me go ahead and readjust. Make sure you guys can see this. All right, just had to take it off of my mount. So right now it says engine offline because we got to go ahead and give it power. So I'll see if I can do this with one hand. Probably not. All Now it says stop. Go ahead and get a transmitter. I like using the telemetry feature. So I just swipe over and get to turbine. And it tells me stop, it tells me my temperature. All right. So now we're going to go ahead and turn on our fuel line. All right. Fuel line's open. Everything's ready to go. Let's go ahead and make some noise, guys. What do you say? First thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and give it throttle trim all the way up. Ready. All right, guys. Ready to make some magic happen?
Timer start. Timer stop.
Hear that flame, guys? Fuel ramp. Now it goes into cooling mode.
Low RPM. Low RPM.
Now that's the brushless motor, it just goes in there to cool it off. Alright guys, we're going to go for our second spool up. So I propped up my camera. As you can see, we're all stopped. I threw some fuel in there. So a few things you're going to see, because it gets loud and I know you can't hear me, is you're going to go ahead and see it go from stop to ready. Then I'm going to throw my throttle stick full 100% and then bring it down to 0. That starts the sequence for the starter. Then you're going to see ignition. That's when it's sending that little bit of fuel to the bottom to go ahead and ignite like a little fire at the bottom. Then you're going to start seeing fuel ramp. That's going to go ahead and lift it up after 5,000 RPM to 25,000 RPM. Then it's going to keep on going from 25,000 RPM up to idle. That's 50,000 on this beast, okay? So, going up with my throttle trim. 100%, ready?
Timer start.
Throttle all the way up.
Timer stop.
That's just the motor. There goes the fire. Now it's going in preheat to get enough hot. Here goes the fuel ramp. It's ready to go. This is full throttle. See how much fuel it sucks.